So the newest Thief game is here, and longtime fans of the series, such as myself, have a lot of stake in this game. So is it any good? Let's talk about it. Hi, hello everybody and newcomers. Yes, I'm reviewing games on this channel now. Cool, right? So let's get right into it. Thief. Thief is a very interesting game. This is the first game in a while. It's unfortunate this is the first game I'm reviewing on this channel because I really do have a lot of mixed feelings about it. It's actually very difficult to articulate my thoughts, how I feel about this game. And I hate using the word mixed bag because that's overused in reviews, but this game really is a mixed bag. It really is. Now let's talk about the good. Thief is back. Garrett, the main character, is back in full force. This does feel like a Thief game, more in lines of Thief Deadly Shadows, and it's not bad. What's really cool about the game is that there is an emphasis on stealing, which I really appreciated. You go around, you take stuff out of drawers, you find hidden switches behind paintings, you crack safes, you pick locks, you do all kinds of cool stuff, and that's really enjoyable. And in a lot of ways, I think it actually got the concept of being a thief better than a lot of other games, but where it is a little iffy is the stealth mechanics. The stealth in Thief I found to be very one-dimensional for the most part, not just from the mostly linear level design, but also just from the gameplay of it itself. I do like the emphasis on hiding in the shadows and taking out torches and just sneaking around. I really like that. But some of it is just a little bit too simple for my liking. Everything just feels flat and one-dimensional, and a lot of the tools that you use and the places you climb up and the routes you take are very predetermined and don't feel like you're actually doing it. It's very linear. Just the whole design, for the most part, except for like 2 missions, are very linear. And that's not always a bad thing, but for Thief, it just doesn't feel right. That being said, the traversal does feel kind of cool, if a little choppy at times. Climbing ropes, jumping on ledges, running, and parkouring over things is really cool. I like it. Of course, like every game, it takes a cue from Mirror's Edge, but that's not a bad thing. And one of the coolest gameplay additions to a stealth game is the swoop. On PlayStation 4 or Xbox, it's A. PlayStation 4, it's X. You press the button, and Garrett kind of moves forward. It's kind of like Blink in Dishonored, but not magical. He just moves forward. It's very cool. I didn't capture it because I didn't capture any gameplay, unfortunately, because I had it on PS4, but it is really cool, and it is a good way to slip in between shadows and sneak behind people and stuff like that. I really enjoyed that. Now, like I said, I do like that this is kind of like just a stealth game. It's very cool. Stealth is the way to go. You have to acknowledge that if you get in a fight, you're pretty much screwed. You can take on one guard if you're lucky with some iffy combat mechanics, which it's just pretty much dodge and hit, dodge and hit, dodge and hit until he dies. It's kind of shitty, but at the end of the day, it's a stealth game, so I find myself reloading every time I got caught, which is what a lot of you are going to do. A lot of stealth players are used to doing that type of thing, but unfortunately, the game design just doesn't work for that, which is weird. While on the one hand, stealth is the big emphasis, and getting into a fight can just pretty much kill you instantly. It sucks. It's not easy. It's just not fun. Reloading and, starting over again isn't easy. And that's a big, big thing for me. I need to be able to reload, play again, try it again, trial and error. A game that is essentially, while it tries to not be trial and error, at the end of the game, the core foundation is still trial and error. And in that, you need to be able to try again easily. Checkpoints are pretty bad, and they don't really let you know that hiding in closets when you're not being looked for is kind of a checkpoint. But for the most part, checkpoint system is pretty bad, and the reloading in between, when you reload, it takes a long time, and it sucks. And that kind of shows how Thief is kind of a break from immersion in a lot of ways. For example, the hub world, really cool. I like it. It's very segmented into loading screens, almost laughably so. I played in the beginning of the game. You go to a door, it loads. You go to another door, it loads to get to a mission. And that's a little upsetting. Despite that, a lot of people are really ragging on Thief because of that. The hub world is still really cool. It was actually my favorite part of the game. I didn't like doing missions. I like going around exploring the hub world, screwing with people and stealing stuff and doing side quests and going to the shop. I like stuff like that, and I really wanted more of that. And I would have liked it if it was not so broken up. Visually, the game looks great. It's one of my favorite types of games where it looks like concept art come to life. The city that Garrett dwells in is very cool. It is very much a hyper-realized version of the old city that I loved in the old Thief games, and I think that is the most accurate and cool thing that they took from the old series is the city. Visually, the game looks okay. The frame rate isn't so good, and sometimes it's a bit distracting, especially with certain moves. Things get choppy. The game feels choppy at times. Some really cool particle effects and use of lighting and just very artsy stuff makes the game look really cool. Despite that, you feel a little disconnected from it all just because the gameplay's a little but that's besides the point. And the story I'm saving for last because there's not really much to write home about. It's not bad. It's just a serviceable tale about Garrett and his partner who goes missing and Garrett comes back to life. It's just whatever. Garrett is cool. That's the most important thing. Most of the other characters are pretty uninteresting except for a couple of villains. But overall, he was a good character. The sense of atmosphere was great. The story wasn't that great, but the sense of mood and atmosphere was excellent in Thief. And at the end of the day, that's one of the reasons why I am going to recommend it. Thief overall, I can't totally recommend to everyone. It is not a game for everyone. It's not even a game for people who are just fans of the stealth game. It's for people who are patient and who want to see some good things along the way. I can't recommend it as just a full go out and get it. Maybe wait for a price drop, something like that. Like I said, though, it's not for everyone. I don't hate it as much as a lot of reviewers seem to do. I enjoyed it for the kind of. I had to step away from it a lot because I did get frustrated. But at the end of the day, I like what I found. I liked exploring. I liked being in the world of Thief. I didn't like sneaking around and doing missions so much, but I liked being in the world. And for that, I think some of you should check it out. But let me know in the comments, you guys, what you think of Thief. Of course, this is my review. This is my evaluation. This is my opinion. I want to hear yours. Let's talk about it. Am I right? Am I wrong? Do you disagree? Or am I stupid? Let me know in the comments. And if you're new to this channel, you should definitely subscribe because I'm starting to do more reviews. I talk about video games and stuff like that. But as always, guys, I'm Jake Baldino. You can like me on Facebook. You can yell at me on Twitter, and you can subscribe because video games.